name's Reid. I'm from the south side of Chicago, and when I was looking at the, you look at the cover of your book, it says this conference, 2019 ESA, is all about inclusion. And this is all about seeing success stories. And I was a high school dropout, south side of Chicago, and now I'm a PhD student. So I want to talk about that. So a little post-lunch exercise, you can say you exercise today. Imagine you're coming home and the following image is displayed on the billboard 1 block from where you live. As you come home every day for the next 6 years, this image is going to remind you of home. And I want you to think about what this image says to you. When I was growing up from 10 to 16, this image was on right by the barbershop at my house. And every day I came home and it reminded me of this is the neighborhood I'm living in. Am I the kid who's about to get shot? Am I the gang member they're asking not to shoot? Am I the parent? And growing up in this kind of community will leave you completely dejected. Here I am, nobody look at my eyes, I'm a little bit glazed over. At my little sister's high school graduation, 3 years younger than me. No interest in science, no interest in doing anything with my life, no job, no career direction. And in Chicago, that's a dangerous place to be in. Yes, we have gun violence, but it's not random. 70% of all non-fatal shootings occur to only 6% of the population, and I was on path to be that 6%. Minority, low income, south side, all the bad directions I could be in. Found out as an adult there's a name for this, and it's called being a member of the disconnected youth. These are individuals between the ages of 16 to 24 who have no job and are not working. It's clear to see that if you're in that group, you're susceptible to a lot of negative influences, and that's not a good place to be. This is even worse in Chicago, where 40.9% of African Americans, and these are adults between the ages of 20 to 24, are in that same place, disconnected. Luckily, I was given a path out of this. Early in my life, I went to a community college and met an amazing mentor who taught me that you could literally study animals for a living, which is something I had no idea was a possibility. You only know what your parents do. After I was given this path, I got into ecology for the money. I was bagging groceries for a living, and I got my REU at the Field Museum where they gave me $5 grand over 10 weeks. And I fell in love with bats, y'all, like, for real. Somebody talked to me about bats afterwards. I can't talk about them all day. I want to put a slide in between everyone, because that's where I found the world is amazing, and I got a chance to really feel like a scientist. The first time I got on a plane, the first time I left the country, was to go to Costa Rica and research bats in the middle of a jungle with some amazing mentors. And I told my next internship was going to be the seeds internship, and I told them, hey guys, I love bats, let me study bats. So I'm going to send you to Texas to study bass. And even though it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, the Seeds for a Fellowship doesn't come with just a chance to do research. It comes with the leadership trainings. It comes with the field trips. And it gives me a chance to feel like a real scientist. And I presented at a conference. Now I was a real scientist, and I took that opportunity and I said, I'm going to start a program for people like me. So on the south side of Chicago, in the Austin neighborhood in the west side of Chicago, I started an after-school program where I paid students to learn about the ecological issues in our city. I was reminded of the importance of this program in November of 2017, where a student from our college was murdered after a home invasion. He applied to my program. We were only allowed to take 20 students that quarter, and he was like the 22nd to apply. We weren't able to take him. Other schools cancel sessions because of snow days and heat issues. In the Austin neighborhood, we cancel school days so we can attend memorial services. I'm lucky. I was able to get out of this situation, but I had to think, who are all the players in this? This is an entire community we're talking about. This is an entire city we're talking about. These are the children, the parents, the shooters. Nobody wants to be here, and how can we do something to fix this? My next job, I was able to work with the CRED program and the SCA in Chicago, where we took men who were in that worst category, that 20 to 24-year-old young men who had been in the criminal justice system, and gave them a chance to do conservation work for a fair price, a fair wage in Chicago, and learn about how amazing their city was. And this was total justification to me, because these were the badasses I looked up to as a kid. These were the cool kids. And when they were on their lunch break, they didn't want to smoke cigarettes, they didn't want to hang out, they wanted to go catch snakes in the woods. And I was able to tell them what those snakes were, tell them, yeah, that one's not poisonous, you're cool, play with the snakes. So now I'm out of the hood, as they say. I made it out, and I'm a graduate student. I get to fly to Jamaica and do my own research. I won an education award last year, and I still get to do my teaching with the Camino and Doris Duke programs in Chicago. In Santa Cruz, I'm so sorry. We have an opportunity to address two issues at once: the environmental crisis on this planet, and the environmental crisis the planet faces, and the countless individuals looking for meaningful and fair opportunities to work. It would be a disservice not to take this opportunity to introduce ecology to every member of the next generation and every disconnected youth, as it was done for me. If you've learned anything from this, please go home and make students care. Thank you.